Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining. My name is Stephanie Horwath. I'm the sales engineer here at accesso Siriusware. And during today's webinar, we'll be covering how the accesso Siriusware Solutions Payment Plans module can help you sell more season passes. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items so you know what to expect and how to participate in today's session. You may have already noticed that your voices have been muted. They will remain muted throughout the session. However, you can type questions to our moderator, Katie, throughout the webinar in the chat box. From your questions will be presented at the end of today's presentation, and we'll address them. All right, let's get started. At accesso, we believe technology has the power to redefine the guest experience. Everything we do starts with thinking about the guest experience first. This allows us to help our clients simplify operations, improve guest satisfaction, and drive growth. We have discovered that our accesso Siriusware Solutions Payment Plans module provides our guests with financial flexibility, which leads to greater guest satisfaction, as well as greater guest spending at your venue. Before we get started, I'd like to take a quick poll to see how many of our guests on the phone today are currently using their own version of payment plans. Katie, can we start the poll?
We sure can. So everyone, Stephanie and I were talking yesterday and thought it might be fun to see how many people in our audience are currently using payment plans. So you should be seeing this question pop up on your screen. Do you currently use some version of your own payment plans for season passes or really anything else at your venue? The options are yes, we currently use payment plans, not now, but we have in the past, and no, we have never used payment plans. So it looks like we have most of our responses in. I'll give you guys just a couple minutes or seconds really. And then we'll go ahead and close the poll and show the results. All right, so it looks like about half of you do not currently use payment plans that you have in the past, and then 25% do use them, and 25% have never used them. So,
great.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, for the folks that have used payment plans in the past, you understand the general concept, and I think anybody could. It's about, divvying up the cost of a high-value item over multiple payments to give your guests a break. So let's start with taking a look at the reasons why our payment plan solution can benefit your guests. Payment plans give guests a budget-friendly option to buy passes and memberships that may have otherwise been too expensive to pay for all at once. Spreading out the cost of a higher value admission means the guests don't have to worry about the full upfront cost. Payment plans also help facilitate higher value purchases. By spreading out payments for higher value admissions and passes, you allow guests to have the ultimate pass they wanted but couldn't afford. By stepping guests into memberships and season passes, you have the added benefit of potential return visits for guests to bring friends or spend on other items within your venue. Guests are less rushed if they feel they can come back, so they enjoy their visit even more and build loyalty to your venue. Auto renewals are also an option with payment plans. These help guests save time when renewing their membership and encourage them to be long-term members or pass holders. Payment plans benefit you for many of the same reasons they benefit your guests. Higher value purchases mean more revenue for you. Secondly, when guests are visiting more often, they feel an increased sense of loyalty, which can drive further engagement and long-term revenue. Plus, since guests have the option to return to your venue, they're able to relax and enjoy themselves even more when there. Payment plans also result in decreased cart abandonment online. More guests complete the purchase because you are offering them a budget-friendly option that does not require a large upfront payment. Payment plans also benefit your operations. They're simple to implement and include automatic notifications. It can also be helpful to have the reliable long-term revenue stream of recurring payments from these guests. Again, that integrated auto-renew feature is an operational benefit. It saves your staff time while keeping your guests enrolled and engaged. Recent research shows guests are budgeting on a monthly basis, and a lot of purchases that used to be a need to have turn to a nice to have when budgets tighten, and I think we can all relate to that. In a recent article about guest membership purchases, Suzanne Carowan, the CMO of High Road Solution, a strategic marketing company, said, the payment plan module follows this payment. She says the new payment terms allows a membership that may have seemed daunting to now be palatable and perceived as a need instead of a luxury good. And this payment plan module follows this payment terms trend and allows the guest to budget accordingly, helping them retain that need-to-have pass or membership that they wanted. Ready to get started? Accesso can help. Product-specific functionality lets you control which items are available for payment plans. Our preset schedule allows you to set up transactions to auto-notify and for you to auto-collect payment. Integrated reporting alerts you to credit card declines, expirations, approvals, and account balances. So let's take a look in the software at the Accesso Siriusware payment plans in action. So I'm just going to get out of my PowerPoint here, and I'll have to log back into sales. So what we're looking at here, this is my sales point solution for Siriusware, and in this demonstration we're going to pretend the guest is either standing in front of us or they're calling on the phone. So the operator simply has to sell a season pass as usual. So I'm going to add this unlimited adult pass to the sale, and notice my price tag there, $500. That's not unheard of for a season pass, but it can be pretty steep, especially if you have multiple family members coming and engaging in the season pass program. So let me set the guest and collect that information, and to save time, I'm going to use a guest that I already have in my system. Susie Snowboarder. She's been here before, so we have all of her address information. And notice I have required her email, but I already filled that out in her guest record, so it's good. So one thing you'll want to do with payment plans is you're going to require a credit card and you're going to require an email so they can get those notifications. Okay, so I'm going to save this guest record, and we'll see that my pass is ready to finalize. I've got my guest name associated with it, but this is where we use these two new buttons on the main action buttons screen in the sales, and the one to finalize or enroll the guest into payment plan is going to be our payment plan button. And we see here we have our guest on the top left corner, and we currently don't have a credit card on file for this guest, so we'll need to collect that. The amount to pay now is $125, so it's a fourth of the total cost of $500. And in my payment plan scenario, I have the end date specifically set to be November 1st. So, or sorry, 4 payments. So we have 1 payment now, and then we'll have 3 more payments at the first of the month after this initial payment. You can choose when that end date would be. You can also choose to have it in a pending status or an active pass. So that means the guest could use their pass while they still are making payments on it. It's up to you. Also, if Susie Snowboarder was a child, we could select a parent guest to add to this guest information section that's for the payment only and link their credit card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my card on file, and if I had a swiper I could just swipe it in here, but I'm going to use a dummy credit card for our demo. Great, and as soon as I hit OK, $125 will be deducted from their credit card and they will be enrolled into payment plans. So we'll go and take a look once this processes in the payment plan lookup. We can see the receipt here. The pass costs $500, but we made a transaction for $125 on a MasterCard, and we got an approval code. So this would be a receipt for the guest. To look up the payment plan, we use this other main action button, and I'll just type in a few letters of their name. You can look it up other ways as well, sale number, date active, and we see here's my guest, Susie Snowboarder. She owes $375 remaining for her pass. There's the sale number, there's the date it was created. If there were any error dates with her payments, they would show here. So since this guest came up and it's my guest, I'm going to click OK and recall their payment plan information. Okay, So again, we see the guest name at the top, sale date of the original pass, what their next payment will be, if it's active, voided, declined, that would show here. And we see the next payment and the type of pass they purchased. Now, the nice tools that we give for the operators who are running the sales point is that they could pay off the balance from this screen. They could also refund, which means it'll return the pass and issue a refund of the money the guest spent. And then also we have this forfeit button. Forfeit means that these passes are non-refundable. So if the guest chooses to not continue with their payment plan program, or they're not going to get a season pass at your property, they can forfeit the purchase of that pass, but they don't get any of the money they've already paid back. So those options are there for you. I'll also point out that if the guest is standing in front of you and they wish to make a cash payment as their first payment, they can absolutely do that, but we just need a credit card on file. Okay, so now let me just take you over to my demo e-commerce store just to show you what this will look like for the guests as they opt in into payment plans online. So this is assuming we've chosen the same pass, the adult unlimited pass, and we've added it to our cart. All we need to do in this screen is add our guest, and at the bottom here we have a display about the different payments, and the guests can either opt in or opt out of payment plans. So it's one screen they have to go to that they'll see this option. It's clear, concise, and they'll get the email receipt when they've completed their transaction about the next payment plan and about what they've paid today. Okay, so let's go a little deeper and look at the setup. As I said, it's pretty easy, right? I want to show you the tools that you have. You can see the different the ways to use payment plans. So the first place I'm going to go are my payment plan rules. These are the rules to establish when the payments will happen and how they'll happen. So do we use a specific end date, or do we use a specific number of monthly payments? It's up to you. And this is also where you'll register your auto-renewal pass. If the guest chooses to opt in to auto-renewing, this pass that you enter here will be the trigger to extend that expiration date on the auto-renewal. Great, so you have these two options. It can be a number of payments or a specific end date. That way, for ski season, if you know you generally open around Thanksgiving, you can make that end date November 1st. The next screen we'll go to is my payment plan preferences. And this is where the notifications for your guests get set up. So the payment processing screen has a couple different things on it as well. The charge day, this is where I'm saying charge the guest on the 1st of the month. You could make this the 5th of the month or the 10th of the month. It's your choice. Now, if you'll notice in my payment plan lookup, I'll show you Susie again. If you notice the dates of her withdrawals here, we have 7/21 of today, but then we skip to September 1st, October 1st, November 1st. Where's August? Well, I have this setting here called my cutoff day. And basically it says any sales into the payment plan anything that happens after the 16th of the month will skip the next 1st of the month and go to the following 1st. So this gives your guests a little bit of a break that they're not getting pinged for a charge back to back. And you can change this date as well. Maybe you make it later in the month or earlier in the month. And maybe they stop, the cutoff date is the 10th, so any purchases into payment plan after the 10th, the guest isn't charged until the following month. And then we also have account settings, because basically the power of our payment plans lives in our accounts setup. So we have an account called Payment Plans, and the account name is Payment Plans 2016. So all the invoices for the guests buying into my 2016 payment plan season will live in that one area that's easily reported on. You'll see everybody's balances split out individually, and I'll show you that next. The next section in this window is the subject line for approved payments. Again, this is a generic email that goes out to the guests. Successfully charged, you can add other information in here if you wish. And just below it is the declined notification if there's something wrong with their payment. The nice thing about the software is that we can also send notifications to someone on your staff. Whether you want to know every payment plan that's been approved, we can send that email to multiple people or one person, and the same thing with declines. so that you can keep track of these maybe a step ahead before the guest calls. You can call them and say, we're sorry your card was declined, let us help you. So we want to notify you and your guests. So we also have a pending notification email that will go out to your guests. And in my scenario, I've opted to send it on the 20th of the month. So if we're taking payments on the 1st, on the 20th of that month, an email will go out to all of your guests that are enrolled in payment plan saying notice of an upcoming automatic payment. You could also put language in here saying, if anything's changed with your credit card, please call our guest services office so we can update your card on file and not interrupt your payment plan, and that way you get your pass. And then also in this window, the same thing with auto renewals. We give notifications to your guests and to you about approved auto renewals, declined auto renewals, and there's also a pending notice for auto renewals as well. So we're pretty clear with helping you try to get this message out to your guests and keep everyone organized. Okay, and then I'll show you my payment plans account where all the invoices live for my payment plans. So I'm going to go to Payment Plan 2016, and we should see a few names in here. And the most recent addition is our Susie Snowboarder, and we see her balance here is $375, and we have some other folks in here that have some money for their payment plans as well. So this will help you balance your books and keep track of where outstanding balances may be. Okay, so that is the setup for payment plans. And the only thing you have to do on the pass item is dictate to the pass which payment plan it should use, and it will fall under that payment plan. So if I click on my Adult Pass Unlimited that we've been selling today, and I'll notice right here my payment plan rule is that winter season payment plan. And that's the only item setup you have to do with payment plans. Let's go look at reports. So one thing that we're migrating to as a company and writing reports for now is the Microsoft SQL Server reporting services. This is a great tool for everyone that has the SQL Server because these reports can be accessed almost from anywhere with the proper clearance, and they can also be emailed to you and subscribed to, so you could get reports daily, on the hour, what have you. So you'll see a lot of new reports that we release, and our updates are coming out in this format, and one of them is called Payment Plans. So we have a payment plan detail report, and I'm just going to view this report again to update from our recent purchase. And the nice thing about this report, it's giving you details about each individual guest. So should there be a problem and they need to call, you can actively see what's going on with their pass through this report. It can be sent to you daily, so you see it, and it's just going to take a minute to load here because I'm making a new connection to the server. But basically, we're going to give you a good window of what is happening through the process of this payment plan. So if I expand on my Adult Unlimited Pass that I just purchased for Susie Snowboarder, this is actually probably going slow because of the GoToMeeting. Great. So we see here I've got some pending payments coming up. Great, we knew that because we've been looking at it, but this is good information for someone just seeing the report. If I look at L.R. Moore, let's see what her status is with her payments. Okay, so she purchased her pass a while ago, and we're obviously using the cutoff date of November 1st for her payments, so she had more payments to make because she bought her pass earlier, and we can see the approved status and the sale number for those approved records if we needed to go back and see what card was used to charge those payments or what have you. So that's how we're getting the balance for L. And then we also have our payment plan activity report where this just shows you what the system's doing, whether it be approved, pending. You can choose to dial down these reports to show maybe only declined payments or maybe only pending or stopped, canceled, what have you. So we see again, this will give you the sale number for that approved payment. Okay, so that's some reports for payment plans. And I'd like to take us back to our PowerPoint. Talking about auto renewal, less time is spent soliciting renewal requests from guests each season. So think about the time that you spend doing the paperwork, making those phone calls, the marketing initiatives to get guests to buy back into season passes every season. If that's something you can handle now at the start of this season and then get them enrolled and invested for the following season for auto renewal, that would be ideal, right? That's less time that your guest services or ticketing staff has to spend helping these guests find the right pass for them. If they're regular customers and they know what they want, they can come back season after season and be guaranteed that pass. And with auto renewal, you can even incentivize it. So you could give a discount to those guests for signing up an auto renewal, and that discount can apply when the auto renewal processes or at the time you sell the pass. It's up to you. And like I showed you, the notifications will keep you and your guests organized, so everybody knows when they're going to be charged, what card will be charged, who was declined, all very organized just for you. Okay, I'd like to present a client testimonial. Jonathan Davis at Perfect North Slopes gave us a great testimonial. He's been using payment plans for a while. And he said they are easy to implement and proven to work. They offered payment plans as an option on 2 of their most expensive pass products, and year-to-date, sales went up over 20%, while others remained flat. It's been a piece of cake to use. And currently, we are offering a 20% discount on the license fee through August 3rd. If you would like more information on that, write down this email, sales@accesso.com. This way we can help you get started before your ski season and get you implemented. Great. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about how payment plans can help you sell more season passes through the accesso Siriusware solution. At this time, we'll open the floor up for questions. Katie, do we have any questions that have been submitted?
Thanks, Stephanie. Let's take a look here. We do have one question. The question is, does this work with the tokenization simplify process?
Yes, as we are fully tokenized as of version 4503. So what we do with the credit card numbers is you'll see in the guest profile, you'll see the last 4 digits and the rest of the card number will be encrypted. So your operators will never have access to see the full credit card number. And once it gets encrypted and sent, a token is exchanged for that card number in the system. So you are still in PCI Level 1 compliance with us, and we're not storing the full card number for you, just a token.
Great, good question.
Good question.
There was another question about whether or not the presentation will be recorded, and I can handle that. It certainly will be, and you should all be receiving an email tomorrow around this time with a link to view the recording. So hopefully that is helpful to you all, and we do have a couple more minutes, so if you have a question that's on your mind that you'd like to submit, you can still do so using the GoToWebinar panel. Otherwise, Stephanie, are there other questions that we often get about this module?
Yeah, I guess I didn't cover this, but one cool thing you can do with payment plans is you could set up a different payment plan for different passes. So maybe your senior passes, you want to do a longer payment plan for your senior guests, or on these high value items, you want to do a longer payment plan for them since you know they're really investing into your resort. But you could use the same payment plan on multiple passes, or you could have each pass have its own unique payment plan. It's up to you. And it's all handled, all of the processing and everything is handled through our web sales host and the WW sales table. So there's no need for an operator or a manager to go back in and authorize any sales that may have happened or go start the payment plan, if you will. It's all happening automatically through the WW sales table. Any other questions?
It looks like that is it, Stephanie.
Okay, well I hope everyone found this useful. Like Katie said, we'll be sending out a recorded version of the webinar tomorrow. Feel free to share it with your colleagues, or anyone you feel that might think this is useful. And thanks again, and have a great day.